Thank you so very much for being back. If you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our conversation for today. The political crisis in Rivers State took a fresh turn on Friday after the Supreme Court delivered judgment affirming Martin Amaewhule and 26 others as valid members of the State House of Assembly. The verdict of the Supreme Court in Abuja had sparked wild jubilation among supporters of the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Wike, in Rivers State, Nigeria. Also, the 27 pro-Wike lawmakers who are the major beneficiaries of the court judgment held a plenary immediately they learned about the ruling. In another development, the FCT minister was seen in a viral video with his allies, including some former and serving senators, praising God for the victory at the Supreme Court. The court queried Fubara for collapsing the assembly building and using his immunity under Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to carry out what they called barbaric act against the rule of law. Also, the Apex Court declared October 5, 2024 local government elections in the state invalid. In a judgment delivered by Justice Jamilu Tukur, the court declared the conduct of the local government polls in the state null and void. The Apex Court in its decision set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which nullified the decision of the trial court on the grounds that it had no jurisdiction and restored the decision of the Federal High Court. Now let's have some talking. I still have with me Emeka Madunago. Emeka, thank you so very much for hanging on.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, so let's get into this issue. We had thought before now that the issue in River State is hibernating somewhere. We had thought it was in the freezer and it would last for a very long time. But right now, power has been disconnected from the refrigerator holding that case and is defrozen right now. Here we have it. Amaewhule's faction, pro-Wike, of course, the Supreme Court, Apex Court, has said that they are in charge now. What does this mean for River State and similarly Fubara?
No, well, it's an interesting one. Well, the Supreme Court, in his own wisdom, reached those decisions. But in the case of the local governments were not joined as a party. So the Supreme Court actually nullifying the local government election. You know, some lawyers have actually said that was an overkill. That there is, you know, there is that maxim in law, here the other side, that they should have heard from. These people spent money on, you know, on elections, on campaigning and all that. And you just come up, you know. That's why people have been saying that courts should, the power to overturn elections should be removed from courts.
And given to whom?
No. There should be another way of looking at it. Because, I mean, people will tell you that, okay, oh, that's the result of the governorship election. Okay, until the Supreme Court decides. That's the result for now until the Supreme Court decides.
But that's the
it should not be like that. There should be other safeguards, because you find out that people invest so much money in elections, and then one court will just upturn it. It should not be like that. That is encouraging the tyranny of the judiciary. And many times we've seen that certain judgments concerning elections have left much to be desired. In this case, the local government chairman were of the All People's Party. They are not of the governor's party, the PDP. So why would you now upturn the elections? Why? Because they were the winners. What if it was the APC that won the election? Would the Supreme Court have upturned it? We are saying vigorous that no, we need a serious debate about the powers of the judiciary over election matters, because it's causing a lot of, you know, it's undermining the electoral process.
Very true. That is futuristic. Why we wait to see what?
Even now, we are talking. That's why we're talking of electoral reforms now.
Yes, because just before we get into election reforms in Nigeria, as it stands today, most realistically, what do you think is the state of things right now in Rivers State? So does that mean, realistically, that the APP local government chairs are no longer chairman?
Temporarily now, there are the heads of administration in the local governments who will, you know, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission will just issue a fresh 90-day notice, maybe by Monday, you know, for local government elections.
Really?
Yes. Just in the, I mean, look at what the court said that the commission, the RCEC, didn't give the statutory 90-day notice. But was it joined as a party in the suit? Then the other thing is this. I think Governor Fubara made a tactical blunder when he withdrew the defection case against the lawmakers. After that illegal meeting with President Bola Tinubu, Rivers State is a subnational. There is no, you know, it is wrong for the president to be interfering in the internal affairs of states because he just primus inter pares, first among equals. The states are subnationals. So for you to now be interfering in the business of a state, and you cannot caution your minister because, as has been alleged, you know, you have ulterior motives concerning that state. And so you allow a minister to be terrorizing a state. It is not proper. It's not right. It is not right. So the issue right now is that, you know, when Fubara withdrew that case, you know, withdrew that suit, that didn't help, you know, didn't help his case. Now, those lawmakers did not withdraw their own suit. So I just wonder, all these people, they have a plethora of advisors, they have security advisors, they have security aides. Is it that, you know, they don't have people, you know, who give them information about, you know, what is being done? I don't understand. You have so much, you know, you have so much money at your disposal. You didn't know that the lawmakers retained their own suit. You didn't know that the lawmakers withdrew their affidavit affirming that they that they had actually defected to the APC. You didn't know, and you did nothing about it. I don't see. Sometimes I don't understand Nigerian politicians. The actions they take sometimes are really befuddling.
Yes,
now he went back and filed a case against them concerning
what he was supposed to
concerning the impeachment, and I think that matter is at the Federal High Court. You know, because the Constitution says that anybody that defects, any legislator that defects, will lose their seat, unless for the reason of division. You see, part of the problem is that even the leadership of the parties, you know, also need to be more sincere with themselves and with their members, because look at different people who have defected. Senators, reps, members of the House of Assembly have defected from Labour Party and PDP, and nobody has done anything. You just keep quiet. Instead of you to go to court to reclaim your mandate, including Labour Party that got a landmark judgment of the Supreme Court, you know, in April 2015. You know, in April 2015, that got a landmark judgment in April 2015. You know, that made the Supreme Court say that Johnson Abegunde of Akure North-South constituency should refund all the salaries and allowances he earned because he defected from the Labour Party to APC. Yet the Labour Party has kept quiet. Why? People allege that their leaderships, you know, leadership of the Labour Party and the PDP and the pockets of the ruling party. So when these people fail to do anything, you just wonder, could this allegation be true? So it's sad. Yeah,
so as it stands now, of course, it's so very unfortunate that in a democracy like ours, the judiciary is becoming more like the electorate, you know, deciding who wins the vote at the end.
Which is wrong. It should not be.
Which is absolutely wrong.
And it's part of the reason is because INEC has not lived up to expectation. You even see INEC siding a party to a suit. Why? There was even one senatorial matter in Imo State, you know, where the judge actually lambasted INEC. Now, why are you, the way you are pursuing this matter vigorously on behalf of the defendant? Now, what is your interest in this matter? You are just an umpire. Why are you pursuing this matter as if you have a stake, you know, in deciding who won the election? Why? So, and you find out those things here and there. You know, there's these things happening. We talked about beavers, we talked about IREP. That this thing should be put into the Electoral Act, into the Constitution, so that when the results of elections will be transmitted directly from the polling stations. But midway, through the release of the results of the presidential election in February 2023, the IRF stopped working. And INEC was justifying it, that they can choose any means. No, it's part of the problems we have in this country. We must decide what we... Look, if we don't want democracy, if we want a monarchy, let's institute a monarchy. We will see who will get tired. Let's institute a monarchy. Let's institute anarchy. We'll see who will get tired. But if we're talking of democracy, we should not allow democratic institutions now become a cog in the wheel of progress. Because to all intents and purposes, all those lawmakers have ceased to be members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Because why? If Fubara had pursued that defection case, by now it would have got to the Supreme Court. And of course, the Supreme Court cannot counter its own decided, case. Because they actually, they actually defected on the floor of the House. But what do you see? INEC has refused to declare their seats vacant. The PDP didn't do anything. Oh, the insincerity in the country is so much.
Yes, talking about the insincerity
of the leaders, insincerity of the people. We are just insincere. We just talk. But at the end of the day, what we are thinking in our hearts is different from what is coming out of our mouth, and it's sad.
Yeah, very true, Emeka. You talked about insincerity. Of course, it's so very glaring. At least we can still remember very vividly when the FCT minister, Wike, took up a land that belongs to Julius Baja and used it as a site for building of homes for our justices in Abuja. And of course, the people came for him, but of course, nothing was done.
But the Chief Justice of Nigeria was there. Why didn't she decline? And so, okay, maybe the registrar of the National Judicial Council should go there. I mean, so these are the things we are talking about in this country. When we leave people to exercise their discretion on purely legal matters. That is why you see Accountant General of Federation after Accountant General has ended up as thieves. We leave the discretion to them to decide whether to steal, how much to steal. You can imagine somebody, a former Accountant General of the Federation, who was caught in the act, caught with his hand in the cookie jar, saying he wants an out-of-court settlement. After deciding to appropriate our funds, he's now deciding how the case should end. Somebody that should actually be prosecuted and convicted, sentenced. That is the problem. We are not sincere. We are not sincere. And that is why you see a lot of hypocrisy everywhere. Go to churches, go to mosques, go to faith, centers, and you see people pretending and all of that. Whereas we are world champions in hypocrisy. And that's the sad thing. Look at it now. People are talking of impeachment. How can you impeach? Why will you be talking of impeachment if you mean well for the state? Now look at what the Supreme Court has done now. Said that the allocation should be suspended forthwith to a state, and Rivers is an oil producing state. So when you withhold allocation, you are grounding the oil industry. Because Rivers State is where a chunk of the nation's production, including offshore, is sited. So when you ground, what you want to do is you want to ground the political system, you want to ground the judicial system, you want to ground the legislative system, you want to ground the oil industry, you want to ground security, you just want to unleash anarchy. Come on. These things, no. The Supreme Court overreached itself. In my view, with due respect to them, but they overreached themselves because there was no need for that now. Because to say that until Sim Fubara, until he purges himself or the pension for disobeying court order. So because of one man, so if till 2027 he continues to disobey court orders, the state should remain grounded.
But looking at what they had said, that he was strong-willed in destroying the...
That is one man. Will you burn down the whole of Nigeria? Because President Bola Tinubu did not do something.
But the rule of law must be followed, don't you think so? We are
not talking about the rule of law in this case. We are talking about the interest of the state. And there are other ways by which you don't need to ground the state. talking about the allocations, the Constitution is supreme to any other state. The Constitution says that each state must get its own allocation. The Constitution, there's nowhere it says that courts can withhold allocations. There is nowhere. I wonder on what basis the Supreme Court gave that ruling. If it was Federal High Court, well, you know that there have been also misgivings about what some of these lower courts are doing. But to now withhold, where in the law? Where does the Supreme Court have the power to make such declarations? Where?
So with the Supreme Court, of course, which we know is the apex court, whatever it is they say stands and it's abiding. What do you think is the next way forward for Simi at this point now? He talked about going to the High Court, the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. How do you think that would work?
No, the case is on now. The Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. The case is on about the defection of those lawmakers. So
would that in any way counteract to what the apex court had said?
No. There was nothing about defection before the apex court. In the eyes of the apex court, those lawmakers are still lawmakers. There was nothing before them concerning their defection. There was nothing before them. So, and the matter will now still go up to the Supreme Court. Let's see whether the Supreme Court will say that they did not defect. Let us see now whether it will say they defected and they were right. Then it's going to affect a lot of things. It's going to affect a lot of parties. There will be anarchy. Yes, because what it means is that people can just, you have taken the Constitution and, slammed it on his head. Slammed it on his face. And I don't think that, with due respect, that that's what the Supreme Court intends to do.
Yeah, but looking at the infiltration of the executive on the judiciary, which is supposed to be an independent body, with some wicked FCT minister being bold to say that he is in charge, of some of the things we have seen today. Bola Ahmed Tinubu not even saying anything about it. Tell me, do you think the executive is in any way complicit to some of the things happening?
I think Nyesom Wike just claiming credit for what he can do.
Claiming credit
for what he can't do. Let me tell you something. You see, he doesn't even know the implications of what he's doing. So what you're saying is that you are a corrupter of the judiciary. I was asking some people, are you kidding me? Nyesom Wike, are you trying to say, excuse me, that Nyesom Wike is in charge of is in control of justices of the apex court of Nigeria? That has implications, because you might have a case involving a multinational also. Now say they won't obey, since the Supreme Court there are videos and textual evidence that shows that they don't have an independent mind. I was making an argument on the WhatsApp forum yesterday. I said no, I still have faith in the judiciary, despite all the misgivings. But I don't think we should cast the judiciary in that light, making them look like they're not independent minded.
Well, but that's not the way Nigerians, a majority of Nigerians.
Well, for me, as a journalist, of about 40 years standing, I should not be part of the rabble, that will tend to pull down our democratic institutions. While we excoriate them, while we say, oh, this thing is not right, oh, perhaps you could have done this that way, I will not go to the extent of saying that we've totally lost faith in them. I would not want to do that. That is the issue. That's why some of us, speak out, regularly, that please look at this, look at this, look at this. It's not right, it's not this. Why? Because we have seen politicians come, we've seen politicians go. Politicians have come and gone in this country. So there's no big deal. We've been here. Like they say, if you live long enough, you will see a lot of interesting things. And by God's grace, we have lived long enough. We even live longer. Nigeria has become a strange place where you see strange things happening. But I hope that we'll live long enough to see this, to see the democracy truly mature beyond all these shenanigans. Because it's not helping us. It's not helping us at all. The court should be the last hope of the common man. But there should not be a situation whereby, the court makes a ruling and then people now begin to argue over the interpretation and all of that. Because what it means now, okay, the Supreme Court has said the lawmakers should go back to, organizing plenary. But how will they be paid? how will their activities be funded? Because they are not on any, in fact, there's even no, even those institutions on first line charge in Rivers State won't have any funding. So they get their votes from the state government. Now, those votes have been suspended. I'm talking of the, statutory financial allocation. They've been ordered suspended by the Supreme Court. So how are they going to be paid? How will they pay bill for light? How will they pay for security? How will they pay cleaners? How are they going to sit? So this is just an invitation to anarchy. And I think the Supreme Court should quickly sit to address that area, because that was an overkill. When you ground the activities in a state, what you're doing is that you are inadvertently holding back the wheel of progress for the whole nation. And for an oil-producing state like Nigeria, I think, my lord, the justice of the Supreme Court should have thought of the gravity of, the gravity of what, they declared, the gravity of their declaration. They should have looked at the gravity.
Very well said. While we, of course, try to brainstorm of some of those things, similarly, of course, has been said that the 4 members he has sat with presented budget twice, didn't form a quorum, and therefore everything they said there is null and void. So what don't you think that makes sense?
You see, the justices made it, I think, seems a legal team too. I don't know how they arranged the entire thing, because they were cross-appealing. They are actually supposed to have had the upper hand, because said that demolishing the legislative complex amounted to tyranny. But the governor gave reasons why he did that. Now, I'm not trying to hold brief for the governor. What I'm trying to say is that in things like this, when, decisions are being taken, like there's a legal maxim that says that, justice should be a three-way street. Justice for the, plaintiff, justice for the defendant, and justice for the society. So, if, there's also another legal maxim that says that it's better to allow 10 accused persons to go scot-free than to punish one innocent person. Now you are punishing the millions of people in Rivers State because of one man, Governor Fubara, whom you said, has been disobeying court orders. I mean, at the end of the day, that's an invitation to anarchy. I think the best thing would just be for the Supreme Court to review that aspect. And then the aspect of the local government, because the local governments were not joined as a party. So the chairman of local government can actually say, they are not aware of that the ruling doesn't affect them because they were not a party to the suit. And the local government system is an independent system. Even the Supreme Court has declared it. So the local government chairman can come and say, what are you talking about? We are not aware that it has come to our notice that so and so and so. We are not aware. Why will you now take a decision about us without joining us as necessary parties? Now, if you say that the RSEC did not issue the statutory 90-day notice, but we participated in the election, and look at, you would have heard them. But you didn't hear them on a decision that affects them.
Well, this is the developing story. We promise right here on Enterprise Television, to unravel some of them as they unfold, most definitely. But of course, what we are not talking about here is how this affects the local man, how this affects that woman, how this affects that child that knows nothing about all of the things that are happening in River State, Nigeria. Is there water for them when they turn up their tap? Is there a hospital for them when they go visit for 1 or 2 immunization? Is there road for them? Is there school for them? These are the most important things that we are not even talking about here as against the pro-Wike or pro-Fubara saga. And that's so very unfortunate, actually. We do not know the type of democracy we practice, and just like Emeka did say, if what we want is monarchy, then let's decide. If that's what we want.
Like senior advocate on Nigeria, Chief Wale Olanipeku, during the Buhari administration, he said if you are saying that lawyers should not defend certain cases, Then why not just, once you accuse somebody of something, just take the person to prison. Until one day you will take your wife and children to prison like that. It will come back to you. So decide which one you want. Idiagbon, who was Tunde Idiagbon, who was Buhari's deputy as a head of state, he came up with an idea that lawyers who defend, accused persons, in certain cases, in fraud cases and all of that, should be punished. But they didn't go ahead with that. Where is Idiagbon today? Where is Idiagbon today? People forget that they will die. Soldier go, soldier come, barracks remain. The world will continue. So when you begin to think that you can make laws for yesterday, today, and tomorrow, remember that tomorrow is in the hands of God.
Very well said. They said we are pencils, nothing but pencils in the hand of the Creator. Unfortunately, River State will continue to remain. It's been there even before most of us, came up, and it will be there even when every one of us go. And the most important thing, the little time we have, what are we able to do with that? That's the crux of the matter. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, people, that's just the time we have for today. We'd love to say thank you to you. Please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.